Zane, for a race as demanding as the Coca-Cola 600, how would you describe your performance, and would you consider it a step in the right direction for all your appearances in Cup?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, on all those. Obviously a very long race, so I had prepared pretty much that this whole month of just trying to get ready for it. And at the end of the Cup races, I kind of battled with some seat insert issues of just kind of being uncomfortable towards the end of the race, and then um, yeah, put some attention on that, and I felt great after. So was happy about the training side of things, and then on the performance side, um, we got our car better every single stop, and I just kind of learned and learned and learned as the race went on. And our goal initially was just try to make it to the end and on the lead lap, and then I was uh, passing and running with some really good guys, and then they would get really good track position and compete up front. So I knew that we just needed to be aggressive on restarts and try to get what we could, and we were able to do so and get our car to better fire off a little bit better than the beginning of the race, and we found a happy medium to where we'd fall off, and then yeah, came home with a top 10 finish. So was super excited with that. Obviously, everyone is really good on Sunday, and the Coke 600 is a crown jewel event. So always enjoy going to Charlotte, and it was just a fun weekend.
Speaking about Gateway, could you walk us through a lap around that track in terms of the track's conditions and what it's like to be driving a truck at that venue? And kind of like what Brendan was talking about earlier, what do you recall about making your Cup debut as an emergency driver at that track?
Yeah, I mean, Gateway is a really fun place just to make laps at. So fun racetrack, on the harder side of things to race at, just passing wise or whatnot. So I think being able to put a good lap down at Gateway really comes in clutch in the race, especially on the truck side, just because of how you don't have a whole lot of time on the truck side. So on the Cup side, you have plenty of time to learn, and it was a good place, I thought, to make your debut. And I feel like I really got to experience the Cup carts in between a short track and a mile and a half in a way, and I was shifting at both ends, so kind of got used to some of the shifting. Even though on the truck side we are going from fourth to third, most of the guys are in one and two. So the Cup car is just so much different than anything I think anyone has really ever raced. So it was that was a fun weekend. Looking back to last year when I did get to make that debut on such short notice, and was happy with our run there. I think we finished 17th, but learned so much throughout that day. And then on the truck side, I feel like Gateway has always been one of my best tracks, but have really struggled to just put together a clean race and finish one off ever since my debut there on the truck side. So hopefully just have a clean Saturday, and yeah, see if we could have some good track position there at the end and go for a win. And pretty sure it's a triple truck challenge race, so some extra cash as well.
Zane, you talked about how much you learned during the Cup race on Sunday. I was just curious or Monday. I'm just curious or what you would say is the biggest thing that you've learned from your time in Cup so far.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we all know Sunday is the best of the best, but I just feel like it's not talked about enough on how good those guys really are. From first to last, pretty much, it's just everyone is so dang good. So that creates everyone is really hard to pass, and it's just hard racing for 600 miles. So it's just kind of adapting to that. Obviously, the longer races, and that one was extremely long, but like I said, it felt great after. I felt like I could go for another, which was surprising looking back at my other Cup races. How I was just uncomfortable at the end of them. So Yeah, I mean they honestly race in a way similar to trucks. Just the blocking and the dirty air is multiplied by a little bit. But they're definitely a lot of fun, and that was my first mile and a half in a cup car. And other than that, I've just done short tracks and super speedways, and it's definitely the most fun I've had in one. So my next one is in a are on a road course. So road courses are kind of home for me. So and I hear good things about the next or the cup car on road courses nowadays. So looking forward to that one.
Thank you.
Trey Downey, you're up.
Zane, you mentioned your next top race being on a road course next week at Sonoma. Race there in the truck last year, finished second place. What do you like about that track, and what do you expect next week in that race?
Yeah, it's well, one, it's at home for me, a different piece of California, but it's cool to get back to the home state and really just road courses in general. I just am so excited during the whole week of whenever it is a road course race. So just really enjoy road course racing, especially in stock cars, and Sonoma is a great racetrack. So had a lot of fun there in the truck, and looking forward to a cup car there.
Thank you.
Kelly Crandall.
Thank you. Hey, Zane, can you describe what kind of a year it's been since this point last year when you unexpectedly got called up to make your cup debut, and now you're running a partial schedule, and I'm sure looking towards the future? Just how would you describe what the last year's been like?
Yeah, crazy. Really, I had no off season, and then rolling right into this year, it's kind of been like deja vu and of winning Daytona again, and then Coda, and so it's definitely had its ups and downs throughout this year on just getting caught up in some things that are my fault and some things that where we're competing for another win and inches away, and getting caught up in someone else's mess on the truck side. And then had some things really not go my way at all on the cup side starting out. So to have that good run at the Coke 600 really, I think, just fueled myself back up, and everyone at FRM. It's been a rough 3 weeks on the truck side. Darlington for one, having engine issues, and then trying to rebound at North Wilkesboro, and had such a good truck after starting in the back and driving up to second, and then me speeding on pit road during that final stop frustrated me even more. And then we went into Charlotte, and I knew how important clean air was in the truck, and we had a parts failure of gear oil spraying the rear tires during the truck race, and so not blaming that's why I spun out, but don't think that really helped. And we got to third in the truck race, and spun out in front of the field, got more damage. So my truck guys have been working their butts off trying to fix all these trucks and trying to stay competitive. And so just like I said, that Coke 600 run, I think, just put our confidence back where it needs to be, and fired everyone back up. And so we got one more on the truck side till we got a little break, and then it'll be great that I'm just had that good run on the cup side and only have 1 week off in it, and then back in it Sonoma.
And as I said, as you look to the future, do you know what your plans are for next year? And do you feel like you'd be ready to go to the Cup Series if given the opportunity?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I kind of regret not going there this year in a way. But yeah, I do think I am ready. I feel like just putting myself racing on Sunday has taught me so much, and it just gotten me used to the longer races. But no, I don't have anything in place yet for next year. There are some things we're working on for this year, and we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Zane.
Thanks, Kelly. We'll kick it to John Newby.
Thank you. Zane, going back to the Coke 600 and kind of that decision to stay out on the older tires, it worked out, but even if it hadn't, how important was it as you're still learning all the ins and outs of these next gen cars?
Yeah. I mean, talk about feeding me to the wolves. I mean, I felt like we definitely, from the start of the race, we had a top 20 car, and then the second half of the race, we had a top 15 car, and then that final half, I felt like had a top 10 car, and then really the top 5 were just faster than me in a couple of sections, but consistently, I'd say. But then I don't know what I really thought. I wasn't too confident when, I don't know how many it was to go. I think like 40 to go, and we stayed out. And I was going to be the leader on my first mile and a half and 6 cup start, holding off two Hendrick cars have been obviously fast all year. So I knew that was going to be a handful, and just didn't want to embarrass myself of wrecking in front of the field, or getting wrecked, or wrecking myself, whatever it may be. And so fortunately was able to hold on to that track position as much as I could. And then those cautions fell, and then we pitted with, I think, 3 others, and started like 22nd. And I was pretty frustrated just because we had a solid day. I knew we were better than 22nd. I didn't want to get trapped back there. And then I just went to the fence, and I think got like eight guys in one lap. And then that built me some time to get a few more and just get us track position. And that's just so much what the cup side is you really don't know who is just great until you get them out front. And so I guess it was cool to experience the front row for, I don't know, 500, 1,000 feet maybe, but it was short lived, but it was really cool to run up there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jordan Bianchi. You're up. You there, Jordan? We'll move to Chris Osborne, Robbins Race.
Hey, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today, Zane. I appreciate it.
Yep.
I wanted to ask a question about Todd Gilliland and your relationship. It's got to be a little stressful at times, being in the 38 for a few races, but has it been really professional? Has there been any awkward moments? And are you guys doing pretty well as a team?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely a odd position FRN is in, where I think they have 3 of us and 2 cup seats. And so I mean, we're all aware of the situation and all understand how this racing world works. And yeah, I mean, Todd is a great friend of mine, and that's the worst part about our job is we all live the same life. And so we kind of all hang out with each other, and we grew up racing K&N, ARCA, truck, Xfinity, and then eventually when it's time to get to cup, there's only so many seats. And when you hang out with people that are winning races, you guys are probably both going to end up there or have a shot to one day. And unfortunately, just our situation has kind of fallen in that boat. But I mean, yeah, we try to handle it best we can. Not easy. I didn't intend on it being this way, and it's definitely tough on everyone on the 38 team to share 2 drivers, especially as a rookie crew chief. So it's not only hard on Todd, I think it's also hard on that whole group. A downfall, but
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
But we'll go to Bob.
Yeah, Zane, I'm curious with kind of struggles on the truck side. If you feel like, do you still feel like the defending truck champion, or has any of that kind of swagger or anything like that kind of worn off?
No, I don't go into it really like that. I mean, I know what myself and my team are capable of on the truck side, and it's just kind of unfortunate that's cost us a few possibly race wins and good finishes and a lot of points over the past 3 weeks. But we're still digging and trying to get some momentum back. And it'd be a different story if we just flat out sucked and we're wrecking trucks, but we're at least going for it. And that's kind of my intention of how I went into it this year, of me hoping it's my last year in truck. And so my full focus was trophies are the only thing that matters. And unfortunately, that's kind of cost me some points and some wrecked trucks. And so probably time to tone it back some and focus on points and just good runs in general.
Thank you.
Dustin Long.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Zane, I want to check. You said something earlier in terms of Cup. You said that there are some things you're working on. You said for this year. I just want to make sure I was correct on that. And if that's the case, I'm guessing you're trying to look at, like, I'm guessing it would be something more with Rick Ware Racing, because I'm guessing there aren't as many options for a Ford driver that would be open for this season. Am I correct on that?
No, I don't think I'm going to be doing any more for Rick Ware Racing. It was a great learning day at Martinsville and experiencing Martinsville. What I meant by that is I'm just trying to race more in general. That was kind of my plan of this year, whether it be on the IMSA side like we did in the beginning of the year, obviously getting my feet wet in the Cup Series, and hopefully some Xfinity races or something.
Okay. Thanks for correcting, for expanding on that. I just wanted to check on that. Hey, and I'm also curious, in talking about last year, I know at Gateway with doing the Cup, you were essentially drinking out of a fire hose with how quickly that came down, and there was a limited amount of time to prepare. And I know obviously you'd won a truck championship to that point. That weekend and doing what you were able to do, did that reaffirm? Did that jumpstart anything in trying to move toward more toward a Cup direction? Did it mean anything? How do you look back at, how much did it mean for your career to have that opportunity and to put together a top 20 in a situation that was that was challenging for you, because it just, in a lot of ways probably wasn't too fair to you. But I mean, sometimes we don't get the choices on situations like that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think any Cup opportunity that you get, and that one that I got for RFK Racing was a huge opportunity, and was super thankful for that. And so, I think definitely that run that we had, I think got my stock up, and then obviously getting the truck championship helped that rise as well. So I think just time in the Cup car is so important. And I think once that new Cup car came out, people realized that, man, you don't have to do the route of truck Xfinity Cup. And the Cup car is, like I said, so far apart from anything, though it does kind of race like a truck. So I don't think you need to go that route of truck Xfinity Cup. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. So yeah, I'm happy for these Cup starts that I'm getting. I'm happy for that one that I got last year at a place like Gateway. And I think every time that you're in one, you learn a lot.
And one other quick question, and I appreciate time, is you reference trying to get more races this year, and you say, hey, maybe Xfinity, but you just talked about that with this new car, that truck Xfinity Cup doesn't have to be the traditional method. So if you get into some Xfinity races, what's the benefit, or what are you trying to get out of that if it's maybe, if you don't think, or there's the belief it doesn't correlate as much to this new car?
Just back to racing more. I think just Xfinity is a little bit longer of races, and I think just the more things you race and the more often you race, the better race car driver you're going to be. And if there are any people out there that think, well, man, what will you do in Xfinity? Hopefully we could have a good run and on the Xfinity side and put that to bed and yeah, but move forward. But no, I don't have any intentions of thinking, man, I got to go Xfinity racing before I go.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
We'll keep it going with Claire.
If I can, there we go. I wonder how much the mental side of it is to try to have the confidence when you move into Cup or when you work your way into proving that you're ready for it. How do you deal with that, and how hard has that been? You know, the picture is that you can cut the intensity with a knife when you walk in the Cup garage. What have you found?
Yeah, definitely. And I think like those good runs that you have, and fortunately I was just able to experience one, which that was my goal, was to kind of run up closer to the front with those guys and just see how it is. And I think that just builds confidence of just knowing that, like, hey, we could run up here. And so that was super important. But yeah, I mean, Sunday just brings a whole different atmosphere in general of way more people. You've now made it, so you're in the position of the people below you are trying to take your job now. And so it's definitely a lot more pressure, but I think it's just like any professional sport. It's really cutthroat, and if you belong, you belong.
The cutthroat side of it is something that you always knew was going to be like that, or you had been told that, or you experienced it and didn't really think so.
No, I mean, I knew it, and you obviously always hear about it, but it's a whole other thing to experience it. And so typically if you're experiencing it, it's a really good thing. Like you're doing a good job. And so obviously I'm not full-time yet, and so I'm fighting to be full-time and earn a good Cup ride, and that's our goal.
And last thing, I always wonder how the young drivers get along when they know that they're all pushing for the same little entry hole, right? And yet they seem to all get along really well as they move up or as they get close to moving up.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very odd time in the sport of there's a lot of people reaching the end of their road and on the Cup side, and so there's a lot of young drivers that are trying to fill those seats. And so that's why I think you see a lot of aggressive racing, and the team owners really only, and team owner sponsors, everyone really only cares about race wins, it seems like. So just trying to put ourselves in position to capture on these race wins is where our focus has been to, like I said, hopefully end up on Sunday.
Well, thanks for your time. Great run. And thanks for taking the time to answer the questions. Appreciate it.
Yep, thanks.
We have one final question, and we'll kick it to Owen.
Thanks, Zane. To your point about the new next-gen car, how much are you able to prepare leading up to these races with forward and front row? And how is that actually compared to the seat time that you get at a place like Charlotte?
Yeah, I mean, for Charlotte and for previous Cup races, I actually did a lot of sim time in and whatnot. But for Charlotte, I probably only had 30 minutes to an hour. And so that's kind of been my seat time, but leaning on my teammates and other drivers in general, and just looking back at past notes of what they had last year is kind of what I've gone through and how I went about it. And that's my plan for Sonoma. Yes, it's a completely different car, but it's still road course racing. And so hopefully my background in road course racing could still apply to the next gen, and yeah, I mean that's how we'll go about it.